Sir Handel s'est fait capturer. Écrit par le bleu locomotif. Le chemin de fer de Skarloey était très fréquenté. Beaucoup de visiteurs avaient un camera. What? What are you looking at the screen like that for? Oh, right. I'm sorry. Here, let me start again. Sir Handel gets captured. The television crew's visit to the Skarloey Railway had been a great success. As a result, the little engines were flooded with extra holidaymakers. Most of them had small cameras mounted on top of tripods. The engines didn't mind this, but Sir Handel was once again the exception. "I thought those television people were sent away by now," he huffed. His driver chuckled. "Those aren't people from the television. Nowadays people can buy their own cameras to take pictures." And he tried to explain how it worked. Sir Handel wasn't pleased at all. "Vulgar it all is," he scowled as he bustled out of the station. It was summertime, and as time went on, more and more people could be seen on bridges, station platforms and the line side with cameras. "I hope you get a nice photograph, but please stand well back," called Skarloey as he chuffed past. Some photographers, however, did not stand well back, and it began to cause trouble. "Late again, Sir Handel," smirked Peter Sam as the irritable engine arrived at the top station. "Don't even try to blame me for it," Sir Handel snapped back. "A silly passenger had his tripod thingy too close to the line. Sheep take less time to get out of my way," he continued angrily. Peter Sam just laughed. Oh, well, he certainly captured your scowl at least. Perhaps next time you could try smiling for them." "I said before, I am not traipsing about and making an exhibition of myself," scowled Sir Handel. He was growing tired of the photographers and began to form a plan. A few days later, the thin controller came to the shed. "I've decided to let Rusty pull coaches today," he began. "Could I get a volunteer to take the works train?" "I'll do it," came a voice. It was Sir Handel. He smiled innocently. That's odd coming from you," frowned Skarloey. "Perhaps, but I'd like a change, much like Rusty does." The thin controller nodded in agreement, and Sir Handel quickly left. "Let's not tell him," chuckled Peter Sam. "He'll figure it out very soon." Sir Handel was soon trundling up the line with the works train in tow. "No pictures for me today," he chortled to himself. "What's the first task, driver?" "Well, be ready to smile," the driver replied. "We're coming to the first photo charter area." "Photo charter area?" Sir Handel spluttered. His mood dropped like a cold fire as dozens of photographers on the line side began happily taking photographs of him. "This isn't really a works train. It's an exhibition for the photographers," laughed the fireman. "Didn't anyone tell you?" Sir Handel was furious. Further up the line, a man was standing directly on the track. He was happily fiddling with his camera and was delighted to see Sir Handel approaching. Sir Handel noticed this. "Bother! Get out of the way!" he shouted. The man heard Sir Handel. He began to move when suddenly he tripped and fell onto the rails. Sir Handel wasn't angry now. "Stop! Stop!" he yelled in horror as his crew slammed on the brakes. The man tried to get up, but he couldn't. Sir Handel was frantic. "No!" he yelped. He shut his eyes and prepared for the worst. When Sir Handel next opened his eyes, he found himself back at the shed. Sir! Called Peter Sam. "He's waking up!" The thin controller, Sir Handel's crew and some workmen came rushing over. What happened?" asked Sir Handel groggily. He was dazed and very confused. "There was a man on the track. I was trying to..." He paused, frightened. "Oh my goodness, did I..." he stammered fearfully. The driver and fireman smiled warmingly. "You managed to stop just in time. And good thing too. Turns out that man sprained his ankle when he fell. That's why he couldn't move out of the way." "It appears he went into shock while trying to stop," continued the thin controller. And we've been keeping an eye on you since, finished Peter Sam. He had helped bring Sir Handel home and had been especially worried for his old friend. Sir Handel was very relieved. Thank goodness, he sighed wearily. Take as much time as you need to recover, smiled the thin controller. I have to go make some special arrangements. The special arrangements turned out to be new signposts placed on the line side, telling photographers to stand well back. The engines were very relieved by this, especially Sir Handel. He was even more pleased when he was greeted by a particular passenger a few days later. Oh, I'm so sorry for the trouble I caused you, said the man, now in crutches. That's all right, replied Sir Handel. I just hope you get better soon yourself. Oh, it was my own fault at all, frowned the man. I was trying to get an especially good photograph of you. What with you being such a grand engine? Sir Handel was intrigued. Really? He replied. He hadn't thought of that. Nowadays, Sir Handel is much more accepting of visitors taking photographs. I'd better make sure I look my best. What with all these people wanting nice photographs of me today, he would often say in the mornings. I suppose it's better than complaining, whispered Peter Sam to Skarloey. Indeed, replied Skarloey. We'll think of something to bring him back down to earth soon. It would soon take a certain steamroller to help do that, but that's another story. Further up the line, a man stood directly on the tracks with his camera. He was happily fiddling with it and was delighted to hear Sir Handel approaching. Sir Handel saw this. Bother! Get out of the way! He shouted. The man heard him. Ah, Sir Handel, he called. I was just telling Rusty about that thing there last year. How did you fare with yours? Get out of the way! Because, I'll tell you, they have no morals and no respect for human life. But what they do have, and no one can deny this now, they have the finest collection of boilers in the world. And I include Vickerstown in that.